Morning, Rick T, Outdoor Adventures, and Billy. We're out in beautiful forest again. It's a bit fresh today, you know. It's considering how it's been, you know, a few weeks back. Not cold like, it's down 12 degrees, but it's wet and a bit minging, but always beautiful to be out in the forest. Now we're going to look at one of my favourite tools today. I know a lot of people don't like axes because of the potential dangers of using axes, but I love axes and hatchets. And when you think about it, it was one of the first tools that we ever invented. You know, we'll have started off with the hand axe. You know, they probably realised that a rock of a particular shape was good for chopping up and for using as a tool. And then ultimately over time they realised that if you put a handle on it, it got even longer because you couldn't extend your arms, so you got even more power. So the hatchet or the axe will have been born, and from then on, oh, they've been used all around the world. Every you know, every country, every blooming, you know, people all over the world have used axes, you know, and hatchets for everything from shelter building, processing game, you name it, as weapons, you know. And what a tool. It's a fantastic tool they are. And for us who are into survival and wilderness exploration and camping, you know, just campcraft and stuff like that, I think they're an amazing tool. So I love using axes and hatchets. I think they're great. I love to carry them with me on most trips, definitely canoe trips. In a survival situation, I would 100% want an axe with me if possible. It's quite dark in forest today, in this particular section anyway. But yeah, they're a fantastic tool. So we're going to have a look at some of my axes, and I'm going to have a look at one in particular, and we're going to review it. Good boy. So in my pack today, I've got my three, I nearly said four then, because I have got four, but one is a really old hatchet that rarely gets used. But I've got my three main hatchets nowadays. Now two of them, one of them I've had for a long time. This one I've had for about 5 years. I got it for my 50th birthday and it's been put through some hammer. But you can see the handle of this one is sticking out the top of the rucksack. I'll talk about it. But I've got my three hatchets in here. Let's get them out. Two axes that have been firm favourites of mine. Yep, the Hultifers Forest Axe, and my small, which is from a B&Q type place. Yep, but that has been with me for a long time and has done a fantastic job. So two of my favourite axes there. And now I'm going to introduce you to a new addition to the family. Yep, so here, oh, get this. So we have the Beavercraft AX3 Woodcraft and Bushcraft splitting axe. So it's a nice new addition to my kit. I'm going to talk you through this and we're going to review this. But decent mask on it. So it's a bit different than the other ones. And we'll talk about these different features. So if we look at my old axes, yeah, it's still going to be used all the time. This is my group axe, yeah. This is my group one that I use with young people when I'm working, doing bushcraft survival type courses and stuff. And this is the one that I let them use with my supervision, yeah. Because it's an old, but it's fantastic. I would be gutted if I lost it. It's been all over the place with me. But that's a great bit of kit. But I'm not too bothered if that misses and goes in the ground Yeah, and well, I'm bothered, but I'm not too bothered. I'd be gutted if my nice Ultifers axe went in the ground and hit a rock and I had to grind that edge down and resharpen it. But for this is my little workhorse when I'm working, so that gets used probably more than any other axe to some extent. Then I've got my Ultifers, yeah, my forest axe, 19-inch handle, 19.5-inch handle, great bit of kit. Fantastic for building shelters. Yep, a fantastic axe. And now we come to the new one. Yep, so this is the Beavercraft AX3 Woodland Bushcraft axe. It's also down as a splitting axe. Take the mask off there. So there we have it, a slightly different shape than what I've got, which is why I went for this one. When I was asked if I wanted to try one of the axes out and use one, I picked this one because of that slightly different shape. It's got more of a bearded head, so you can chalk your hand right up to the top and I can get underneath that blade there. So it feels nice in the hand, yeah, especially when you're chalked up slightly there. When you get there, you've got good control on it, but it's not as comfortable because of that bows. But here, it's really comfortable. Well, yeah, we're going to try that out and put it through its paces. So the design says it's for survival and wilderness travel and wilderness living, outdoor living. The handle is made of ash. Yep, you get a lot of axes made out of hickory or ash. I mean, what you want a wood that's a bit of a damper, that can take away the vibrations. Not too critical with a smaller axe like this, but with a bigger axe you would definitely want something that's going to take away them vibrations. Yep, when we're talking about axes, I've been calling these all axes. I would say this is a hatchet. Yep, for me that's a hatchet, and for me that's a hatchet. I would say anything, this is not a two-handed axe. Anything that's one-handed to me is a hatchet. I would say my 19-inch Ultifers is an axe, but only just in the axe range. I can use that with two hands comfortably. Yeah, so that's an axe to me. But I can also chalk up and use it more like a hatchet, although you've got a little, it's not as comfortable as using a proper hatchet when you're chalked up because of the balance, but it's still pretty good. I still love it. But that's an axe. Anything where it's one-handed is a hatchet. Two-handed an axe, one-handed a hatchet to me. This is my personal, what I think. Yeah, that's my opinion. They say the curved cutting edge allows for deeper cuts into wood. So when you're chopping, yep, they reckon that allows for deeper cuts. It's got a convex grind. I have put an extra edge on this. When it came it was pretty sharp, but I've given it a bit more so it's even sharper. Midges are out in force this morning. Comes with a cowhide sheath and belt loop. I don't tend to use the belt loops, but you can do. I mean, this is one of the better sheaths that Beavercraft make. On some of their other axes that are more shaped with a head like this, I've seen the mask fall off, which you definitely wouldn't want to do if it was on your belt and then you catch your arm on it. But because of that shape, or that more bearded shape, this stays on a lot more sturdier. So lengthwise, you're looking at about 13 inches, just over 13 inches in total. Yeah, that's from this point to this point. The handle is 10 point something inches. So quite a short handle really, definitely hatchet territory. Your blade width is 6.2 inches. Sorry, the blade width is 6.2 inches. Yeah. So when you look at the pole at the back, it's got a decent pole. So really great for hammering pegs in and stuff like that, for shelter building or just your pegs for your tarps, etc. Even smashing rocks if you were looking for some sharp rocks to create sparks. The lip is slightly different than I've seen before. A lot of them have a rounded lip. I mean, this is quite nice to look at. Yeah. Don't think it gives it any advantages, but just design wise it's quite nice. A decent height in the top there. Yeah, that seems pretty damn solid at the minute from where I've been using it. I've had a zero movement, which you should expect from a new axe. And like I say, quite a big bit on it. Yeah, the blades and a good length, and like I say, I've shortened it up there. Yeah, so I mean the top there is really nice and sharp. Yeah, down to the heel here and all through it's pretty sharp that now. So, and nice handle. Like I say, it's made out of ash. Yeah, the belly comes out there, you can see the belly coming out there. Yeah, into the throat, where the throat comes down. So, and it feels good in the hand. I say this is a hatchet. To me, it's a hatchet. It's one-handed. It feels good in the hand. Yeah, but you can chalk up to the top there. Yeah, that's a really nice position. It's probably going to be my position for carving. Yeah, but it feels good in the hand and nice. It's a nice profile. And we're looking at a weight of about £1.12, something like that. Yeah, £1.12. So a decent little bit of weight to it, and it does feel quite weighty in the hand. You know, it does feel like a decent. It's got a decent bit of weight behind it. So comparing the heads, yeah, this is my Hultifer's forest axe. This is the new Beavercraft one. So like you say, a lot more of a bearded shape. This bit under here, where you can chalk your hand up to, a lot more bearded. Yeah, the axe would have been our ancestors' sack. It would have been their Swiss Army knife. Yeah, would have been used for building, chopping, cutting and shaping wood. So all those skills an axe would have been used for, including, like I mentioned earlier, processing game and stuff like that. It would have been an absolute life-saving tool. Yeah, the tool that made a difference between life and death. But it still can be used for all them things today, and is a fantastic tool in our modern camp. Let's look at a few camp skills and see how this shapes up. On a side note, and it's worth pointing out, whenever you've got a hatchet or an axe and you're using it in the wilderness, have a first aid kit with you. You need to have a first aid kit with you. I mean, you know, occasionally you do end up out, you forgot or whatever, or it's just a quick thing. But if you can, remember, take a first aid kit with you. Yeah, and also, it's no good having it in your backpack. Yeah, you could have your main one in your backpack, but have it on you, somewhere easy to get to. I mean, I'm right-handed, me. I'm generally going to be using an axe. Well, 99.9999, 100% of the time, it's going to be in my right hand. Yeah, so I'm not really going to hurt my right hand. If I'm going to hurt anything, it's going to be down here. It's going to be my left hand. Yeah, so I don't want my first aid kit to be in my left pocket. Yeah, so if I've hurt that end, and that is a mess, yeah, and I'm trying to stop the bleeding, and I'm rooting around trying to get in here, have it somewhere you can get easy. Yeah, top left pocket, right hand thigh pocket. Yeah, just open that up. Yeah, get my tourniquet out, or get my bleed kit out, rip it open, bang it on, tighten it up. Yeah, what I don't want to be doing is faffing about for ages. That's a little tip. I don't know if you watched my mate Jimmy Lundy, but that exact thing happened to him recently, but he was prepared. He had his first aid kit in his pocket, yep, and he was ready for it, and it made a difference. Yep, luckily it wasn't too bad, but you don't know that initially. Yep, as far as he knew, before it had been looked at the hospital and everything else, yeah, it was, you know, it could have been. And he was like, it was like an inch away from a main artery or something like that. So, but he had his kit in his pocket, ready, you know, and so it's always worth, but somewhere nice and easy to reach. Last thing you want, you might be away from camp, you might have gone 100 yards away to fell a tree, your first aid kit's in your rucksack, you make a mess of it, and you've got 100 yards to get back while you've got blood squirting up in her. So sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? But yeah, so try and carry it with you in your pocket. Never walk around with an unmasked axe either. Yeah, I mean, I'm on it all the time anyway because I've got Billy with me. And if he runs up backside of me and axe is down backside of me, last thing I want is him to get caught on nose with that. But you can trip over, you know what I mean. Always stick that mask on when you're walking about. Snedding is a skill that you would use a hatchet or an axe for a lot. You know, if you felled a tree and you want to take all these side branches off to make it clean for building, or you want to use these side branches for building, snedding is something I use an axe for or a hatchet all the time. Let's have a little go on here. When snedding, always cut on the opposite side of the tree so you've got wood in between you. Yeah, or at the very least, if you're on the same side, cut behind you. Does a nice clean job of that. Pegs for the tarp. Feels really nice, chalked up to there. Do the job, decent peg. Nice and easy to make that. Now it's a hatchet, like I say, it's not an axe, but let's see how it gets on with this. That's a decent thickness, that. Yeah, if you compare it to the blade, it's a good thickness. Let's see how it gets on with this. So straight away I've gone to a two-handed hold, so you can hold this one with two hands. I think that was a pretty good job, that. pretty swift. I have absolutely no doubt I could build a shelter in no time using this axe. Yep, as long as the resources were to hand. Yep, great bit of kit for chopping that wood, went through it like no man's business. So what's it like for fire? Let's see what it's like for feather sticks. The bearded head definitely helps, although it's quite painful with your hand stuck in that. It still works holding it a bit further back, although I like that control there, but that still works. That's working alright, let's try it a different way. To be honest with you, that's working really well for feathers. For an axe, or a hatchet, or whatever, I'm happy with that. They're definitely going to take a spark then. So no doubt one of the most important functions of an axe is firewood. Yep, to keep you warm, to cook your food, to make your water drinkable, safe to drink, to a million and one uses, to keep wild animals awake, to chill around the fire at night, etc, etc, etc. Millions of uses, but fire is important, firewood's important. Being able to process firewood efficiently and easily, saving calories, not burning too much energy. You need a good axe for that. Yep, so let's see how it goes. We've got a couple of nice pieces of hardwood here, dead standing, that's dry. We've used it on some wet, a fallen tree before that had come down recently. Went through that no problem. Let's see how it copes splitting these down. So I've got a nice backstop here, nice safe backstop. So the smaller the hatchet, the smaller the handle, the closer you want to be to the ground, knelt on the ground in effect, or with a good backstop so you can't follow through. Because with a short axe you can follow through and hit your shin, with a long axe you follow through and hit the ground. What you don't want to do is hit yourself. So let's chop these. It's good solid dry wood, this. Went through that one easy. That's good hard seasoned wood, that. And splitting that effortlessly. That one had a knot in middle, so a bit harder. So kit wise for me on a trip, quite often it'll be something to cut, yep, and process wood with, yep, to hew wood down, to chop, to split. I'll usually have a knife, yep, for all my intricate tasks, and a saw for cutting across the grain. I mean, with what this can do and what have you, whether you need a full-time knife, I mean, that's my knife and it goes on my hip belt and I carry it anyway, but I could, in effect, I could easily swap that out for something like a little sack, yep, and I'd still be covered. This will do everything else. The sack for me bits and pieces, if I wanted to travel that little bit lighter, yep. You know, if I was in one of them every little ounce makes a difference sort of mood, you know what I mean, but I could do that. So firewood's prepped, so let's have a look at it now for carving utensils. Yeah, so you've got your shelters, you've got your firewood, you've got your basic things like tent pegs, pot hangers, all those stuff around camp. Yeah, but quite often you might want to carve some utensils, spoons, spatulas. I'm always carving spatulas. So let's see what this is like to get a rough spatula done. We'll have a go at it at carving a spatula, see how it works. Got a nice piece of wood here. We'll go and use that chopping block over there again and we'll try it out. Look at you, Billy. He's a good boy, aren't you? Hey? He's a good boy, aren't you? Hey? Have a good scratch. Have a good scratch. Good lad. Good lad. Good lad. bites in pretty decent there, to be fair. When I mentioned before about chalking up to the end, it's alright. That's not bad, that. So I'm really happy with that, the way it's curving. Really happy with it. It's comfy. I can't feel any fatigue in my arm, although I'm used to doing stuff like this. But it's done a good job of hewing that down, you know, to a nice thickness. It's done a decent job of that. Yeah. So we'll get ourselves a drawing on it, and we'll see if we can get it, what the axe is like, getting it down somewhat. Get a centre line up there, that'll do. See, it's not going to be out fancy, it's going to be a rough spatula, but a spatula all the same. Yeah, we'll come in on probably about there. Get that one out to about approximately there. Yeah. Let's bring it in on an angle of about, we'll go for something like that. So we're going to come up to around there. Yeah, like I say, this is only a rough job just to see, I get a feel for the axe. Yep, something like that. Yeah, bit rough, but we'll go with that, we'll try that, eh? Yeah. Not looking too bad. Starting this, let's have a look, let's take a little bit out of that corner. Like you can see, it's working pretty well, isn't it? cutting across to them. Now I'm happy with it as a carving tool as well. Get that. That's decent, that's decent. It's quite good for the delicate stuff, even without my glasses on. So I reckon that did a pretty brilliant job for you know, it's just a rough, it's a blank, innit? You know, it's getting the meat off, all the work that takes time with a knife. So down to that now. Another half hour on that with a knife, or less than that, and you'd have a bang on spatula. Yeah, and I'll finish that off at some stage. But that whittled that down in, blooming hey, it weren't long, 20 minutes maybe, something like that. And yeah, effortless. Can't feel any wear and tear on my arms. No, you know what I mean. It's, yeah, bang on. So well balanced. Quite enjoyed using it. So my thoughts on the Beavercraft AX3 Woodcraft, Campcraft, survival sort of splitting axe. I think it's really good, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's a really good bit of kit. It's a really good bit of kit, and it's a bit of kit I'm going to be using a lot of. You're probably going to see it in quite a few videos. What I like about it, I like the weight of it. It's a good weight. It's a good weight to chop with. You know, you can tell it's got some weight behind it. Some axes, you know, the lightweight sort of ones that you carry, the little chopping type axe splitting axe, they can be a bit too light. You know what I mean? And you know, you can get knives nearly as heavy, but you know, and you know, I did a little bit of battening with this. But it's actually got enough weight in itself to bush through some good hard dry wood, and yeah, I like it. I like the weight of it. Yeah, I like aesthetically. I quite like the look of it for a change. A bit of a bearded axe for a change. It's the first bearded axe I've had. So yeah, it's the first bearded axe I've had really with that shape. You know, where you can chalk up underneath the blade. So for carving, it's really good. You can get right in there. I'm looking forward to carving some cuxes and some bowls with it. But when I'm talking about carving, for getting the meat off now, I mean, it took the meat off that down to that spatula in no time. Really good, really easy. Yeah, and that's what you want. That's what an axe is for. You know, I could use that spatula as it is now. If I wanted, and it'd do the job, but I'll finish it off, I'll fine tune it with a knife, but that can do the job. It can get it down where you want it. Campcraft wise, for making pegs, for building tripods, for putting points on things, for chopping wood down to build shelters. You saw how easy it went through that big log before. It went through that big log in no time. if I was in a survival situation and I needed to build a shelter fast, that would do the job, you know, especially if there were lots of trees, this sort of, you know, 18 stick or something like that, boom, I'd have a shelter up in no time with that axe. I'm calling it an axe again, aren't I still think it's a hatchet, but you saw me go to 2 hands on that chopping, and it was alright with 2 hands, yeah. So even though it's only got a 10 point something inch handle, 13 something in total, it was still alright with 2 hands, yeah. But yeah, no. And firewood wise, you know, for us, it's all about the fires, isn't it? You know, it's all about, you know, for the cooking and everything else, and for sitting around with fire at night, isn't it? Hey, it's all about getting that firewood prepped and split, you know. And it did a great job of that. You know, I soon had that firewood chopped up and into little bits and ready to rock and roll. Feather sticks, did a grand job at feather sticks. So yeah, I reckon it's a decent bit of kit. So I reckon if you're in the market for a new axe or a hatchet, you're looking for something that's going to fit in a small pack. Yeah, starting to put a bit of rain down. You're looking for something that's going to fit in a small pack. Then I reckon it's worth a look at. You know, I'm not sure how much they are. They might be around the $100-ish. Might be 100 quid, I'm not sure. But yeah, good bit of kit. Is this rain going to blow over, or is it going to stay? What the fuck am I doing now? Well, yeah, grand bit of kit, grand bit of kit. So from Rick T, Outdoor Adventure, and Billy Dog, thanks for joining us. We've had a good day in forest doing a bit of bushcraft and stuff like that. I'll finish my spatula off later, and well, I might do it now. We're going to chill around fire for a bit and what have you. Let the evening draw on. Put my blooming poncho on. It rain stopped now, it's about right, crazy weather. But yeah, thanks for joining us anyway. And yeah, if you're interested, they're a good bit of kit. Beavercraft AX3. But anyway, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you again real soon. Alright, ta-da. Oh, it's a boy, ain't it? Oh, it's a good lad.